Na for that matter, wacha niite our honorable bad girl. Hey, Madam Millie, Honorable Millie, ukiitwa bad girl, it is in good faith.
Thank you.
Welcome, madam.
Good evening, everyone. Let me just say, excuse me for not following protocol because of time. I will acknowledge some people at the end, but let me start by giving at least one person a chance. I know you didn't know she was here. I also just recognize that Honorable Njeri, who is Kirinyaga Women Rep, is here. And she's a young person. And she actually voted.
Thank you.
Guess?
No.
Yes, she did. So I just wanted her to say hi because, you know, some of us, I saw a woman who was saying there that I can still climb tracks even though age is catching up. But we are happy, even if age is catching up, we have people like Njeri. She can say hi, right? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I was actually expecting to be very low-key. I think I'll just make a very short comment. I found that in politics, women don't negotiate for what they want prior to engaging a politician. So when I was doing my campaign, I heard young men or even older men. You'd find that they are not afraid to say, Mheshimiwa, what do I get after the campaign? I want to be your office manager. I want to be your secretary, etc. But the women were so shy and coy about it before entering into any agreement to campaign for anyone, whether it's a woman or a man. Asanteni sana.
That is because we are good girls. That's why we don't negotiate, and that's why I tell women, be bad girls. And negotiate before, negotiate during, negotiate after. And just to encourage my friend who is a poet, who was saying, I'm afraid to call Honorable Raila a broker. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing, but he will negotiate before, during, or after. But when you stand here as a woman, you are scared you don't want to be called a broker. Broker. My dear broker. This power taken? Yes, because the men take it. And if we sit here and we want to have good manners, sit nicely, be called nicely, my dear, we are not going anywhere. So you had better, okay? Yeah, you don't broker in a bad way, you broker in a good way. Let me just take this opportunity to thank Badili Africa and my good friend Bina for this excellent piece. I was just looking at this and I'm like, wow. You know, we're kind of speaking the same language because I'm launching my book on the 1st of October. And my book is called Rig or Be Rigged with a question mark. And when I'm looking at this video or documentary, and I'm like, why don't I just show people this and then give them my book? Because what she's written here is half of what my book is all about. When I went into election the first time, I got nominated in parliament the first time. Then I went into elections the second time, for my second term. And when I finished my elections, I was so shocked. I was like, was I in an election or did I go to war in the Gaza? I wasn't too sure whether it was a war in the Gaza or an election. I was a bit confused. And just to deal with sort of like therapy, I sat down for 2 weeks and wrote everything I saw, everything I experienced, everything I witnessed. And I remember telling the senior women, members of parliament, why aren't you guys talking about these things? Why are these things not spoken about? But it is because we have either normalized them or we are too busy trying to win the next election that we don't bother. And I said, I don't care. I am writing about what I've gone through. And my dear, in my book, you may hate me, you may love me, but I call things as they are. I say vagina it is. Why? Because you will see women, the things they not tell you here. A woman member of parliament, and I write it in my book, a woman member of parliament told me, and I know she had gone for elections, struggled to get elected 3 times. And she was so popular because I even campaigned for her and one of those times. And every time she wouldn't be elected. And so she told me, Millie, I went all the time. And every time I was told, if I don't see this man, I will not get elected. And so she said, finally, I said, let me see the man. And she went and the guy told her, let us finish on my desk. And they finished on his desk. And she got a certificate. In my book, I call it bad table manners. That there are male leaders who have bad table manners. But we don't want to talk about it because we are being good girls. I don't care. I'm not going to be a good girl because the kind of way to do politics. And if we don't talk about it, we will normalize it. And me, Millie, I'm doing my 4th term now. By God's grace, if God chooses, I may do my 5th or I'll be the next president, I don't know. But whichever way, hello? Whichever way, if I am quiet, what will happen to Njeri who is here? What will happen to other younger women? And so we must be speaking more and more about issues like this. To the mobilizers, I want to agree that the mobilizers, I tell people, and I write it in my book, that it is a fallacy when I hear people saying women do not support women. Women, and I agree with Honorable David Ochieng, women powered me. Women encouraged me. Women taught me. Because I went in a terrain I didn't understand. I was very elitist, a lawyer from New York University. Nimeenda kwa constituency with my hands and trousers like this. They told me, come here, baby, sit down. And they taught me. And I learned from the women. And I went as a feminist with my feminist notions. And I wanted, when women were following me, and I didn't have a symbol of a cooking stick. But everywhere I went, women were following me with cooking sticks. So with my elitist feminist notion, I was opposed. And I was like, why are they following me? They are reducing me to nurturing and caring roles. Then at some point, it just hit me that women are telling me this cooking stick is a unifying power. It's women power. And I changed my notions from an elite feminist to a feminist who understands the issues in my constituency. I want to say that I've grappled with the issue of the mobilizers because these women, I'm not just saying it, they did amazing work for me. The first time I was elected, I was not given a chance to nominate anyone. I wasn't able to nominate anybody, male, women, or otherwise. My second time, my greatest mobilizer, I nominated her as a member of County Assembly. And now, after that, she went and vied, and she's actually serving as second term as elected. Now we don't agree politically, but I still encourage her and urge her on because I know the power of women. We don't need to agree all the time, right? The other woman who supported me, I've just nominated again. She's also serving as a nominated woman member. I have 3 women that I've pushed for. Who are my mobilizers? Yeah? But I can't nominate all of them. I remember in one party meeting, people said, let us give a standing ovation to our mobilizers. And I said, no, we are going to give standing nominations, not standing ovations, to our mobilizers. Because they are the ones who make us who we are. I wouldn't be here without them. So thank you very much, Badili, Africa, for this wonderful job. It needs to be told, this story needs to be told over and over. And finally, I want to just speak to an issue that was raised by the ambassador for Sweden, Excellency Caroline. And she talked to something that those of us that Why in the civil society sector? And I see you, Boniface. You guys have done an amazing job. I'm proud of you to the heaven and back. I mean, for the first time, I saw that I'm not on the streets running. I sat in my house and I was just watching them. Hey, then I knew the stress I gave people. When my own grandchild, Lisa, where are you? She stood, and she's usually very quiet. And she stood and she said she's going on the streets. And I told her everybody will go, but not Lisa. She told me, Grammy, it is my right. And she's never that one of it is my right. I had no choice but to let her do her right. But let me tell you, morning to evening, you are restless because you don't know whether they are coming back or not. But that's what we put people through for change in the country. Your Excellency Caroline raised a very big issue, which is those of us with a reformer mind grapple with. How do we change the architecture of our election? And when I came in, there was a law called treating that stopped you from giving money. And I used to refuse. But then people told me, Mheshimiwa, you don't give money, you are going nowhere. In one area where I went and I had 98% support, I knew. I found that they had already queued 10. They told me, we know your policy, we know we are voting you. Don't tell us anything we know, just give us money, you go to the next. And I gave money and I went. Because that's the reality. And at first I used to be so opposed to it. Until let me give two. I've seen many, many more. Two sobering events. I normally send little money for funerals in my constituency. My constituency has the highest epicenter of HIV and AIDS, so I have many deaths. Because of time, maybe I won't give you the second one. I'm conscious of the whatever. Let me give you one. And I was campaigning during my second term in Rusinga Island, and we were next to a hill called Gumba. And then I was told, Mheshimiwa, it would be bad if you're addressing people here, and there's a woman who has died up the hill. Just go up and say pole to the family. And it's a place that had no roads, so I walked up the hills. And I went there, and there was a woman in a mud-walled house, grass-thatched. The body was there, covered by a net from UNICEF, because they could not even afford to transport the body to the morgue. The firstborn child was 14 years. There are 3 children. All the adults had died of HIV and AIDS. Then they told me, Mheshimiwa, whenever you ask us what does 3,000 do to people, this is what it does. In this family, your 3,000 shillings will ensure that she's buried. And sometimes I ask myself, what do we do for our country that is so broken? What do we do for this country that is so broken? And it's not as simple as saying, do X or do Y. We have people who are suffering so much. And I see it, and sometimes I don't know what to do. It's overwhelming if you have a heart for this country. And it's not that easy. And I don't know what you're going to do. Yeah, thank you, Bina. It may not be that it's that, it just may be menopause. And on that note, Bina, I don't like getting into real life situations. On that note, let me just acknowledge. That's why I told you I don't want to get to the second one. You deal with the real life situations. Let me acknowledge, Ambassador Dr. Josephine Ojiambo. She knows we come a long way with her. Honorable Karobia. Honorable Karobia, where are you? Oh, thank you. Honorable Few Nephew. Thank you. Honorable Chege. I think she's doing an amazing work. She's my friend on Facebook. Nerea was here. Did you leave? Madam President, thank you. And all the CSO and cooperatives who were here. And finally, let me just encourage the young people that sometimes you get tired of us, those who are senior, who have been there. And you ask yourself, there's a broad-based government. What the hell are you doing there? It's not as easy as ABC. It's very difficult. Yeah? Tuachia, because the country needs change. And when we reach the level where we reached that day, my dear, it's just that we don't have time. I should have told you what we saw in Parliament. When I warned them, because the Gen Z thing had been infiltrated, and I told them, get out. And they chased me. They told me, you drama queen, Kwenda. Today they tell me, Millie, what we saw, we've never seen in our lives. They are writing books about it. Yeah? But I think holding our hands together as a nation, we will get there. But the country has a broken system. And we need together to think how to fix it. God bless you. God bless Kenya.
Let's appreciate Honorable Millie again. I clearly did not read well about menopause and all that. Sindio, let me see your point. Yeah, but without further ado, because I know we need to step out, please help me appreciate the Badili Africa team. Please stand up wherever you are, Badili Africa. We have not slept this week, even former Badili Africa team members. Help me appreciate the Badili Africa team wherever you are. Help me appreciate them again. We haven't slept, literally, you know. So thank you so much for making this day a success. And I also see we have a representation from our board. Help me appreciate Nerima Wako. She doesn't do an easy job on the board. She heavy lifts a lot. Help me appreciate her again. And now help me appreciate the cast members. The cast members again. And Winnie Gore, Communication Africa. Help me appreciate them for ensuring that we have a flow and also publicity for this particular event. So Asante Sana, I just quickly want to invite our grassroots woman leader to close the meeting for us. Help me appreciate Anne. Anne Asante Sana, just wind up the meeting for us.
Karibu Santi. Okay, my name is Anne Wanjiro, an original grassroots woman born and brought up in Mathare slums, the most famous with the demonstrations. I come from an organization called Mlara. The government refused to register our name in full. Mlara means Mathare Legal Aid and Human Rights Advocacy. The government requested that we register as Mlara. I'm here just to give thanks, and I will start by saying thank you so much, especially grassroots mobilizers, I being one of them. And you see my age, I was those who mobilized for our very famous, the late MP, Munywa Wayaki. My mom was a community mobilizer. Those years, she rests in peace. She's those who used to sing to our former president, the late Uhuru Kenyatta. And that's why I became an activist. Jomo Kenyatta, sorry. That's why I became an activist, because I realized they used to go to the airport, stay there hungry the whole day, singing, dancing for them. But at the end of the day, the way you heard here that mobilizers are not recognized, that's why I decided my work is to build. She built my capacity, and I had to transfer to other grassroots women. And I've seen them in that movie, so I'm very proud of them. So let me give this thanks to the community mobilizers. I can see one of them there, Beatrice Karore. She's a very strong one. Then I give my many thanks to Badili Africa and the partners. because the work Badili Africa has done to the grassroots women is very wonderful. Building the capacity, making us stand in front of all those MPs and many meetings, and even having community dialogues where we literally call our members of parliament, our MCAs, to make sure that they listen to us, because we can't go to parliament. And why we do dialogues is that we want to tell them, we are sharing you with the problems and we are giving you the solutions. Because I remember in my own days, the MC or the member of parliament could hear that we are looking for them, but they could hide because they thought we are going to take problems. But things have changed. I also want to thank Amwa for the good work they're also doing together with Badili, and also to all the panelists. I know from the grassroots mobilizer you have heard what we are going through. And I want to thank Millie, because she really shared a lot of things that we were really asking ourselves, who is listening to the grassroots mobilizers? Who will recognize them? We even use our own resources to do that mobilization. I also want to thank all the protocol observed, because I know we have the Swedish ambassador and the rest of other protocols which are here. I also want to say that Badili Africa has brought up women leaders, and watch the space. Next election, I'm telling you, you'll get a lot of women, grassroots women who will go for those seats. Thank you so much for this chance, Badili Africa, and I pray that you should continue building the capacity of many, many grassroots women. We appreciate you at the grassroots level. We know, I like giving an example of Milka Stand Up. Don't think that with all the degrees and all, some of our grassroots women have never gone to school. I'm not meaning her, but then you can imagine. Because of the challenges we had in the informal settlements, I was going to Pangani Girls. I like sharing that. I could walk in that class. We didn't have toilets, we used frying toilets. And then other students from very rich areas could start asking in class, what is that smelling? And we came with another design, putting polythene bags in our shoes. All my sisters went to Pangani Girls. But when we get in that class, we remove our polythene bags. My daughter went to Kenya High School. They used to be called those girls from the slum. That is a bit of my story. Thank you. And I close these celebrations officially. I have more, and I can speak if I have enough time. Thank you so much.
So everyone, we are please requesting you guys to continue interacting outside and networking. The room is in use for another movie that is starting in a few. Don't be in a hurry to leave. You can always get to know the person next to you. Please give back your feedback forms as you leave. There's a lady standing outside the door. Thank you so much for making the time to attend this event.